Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. I promised you some different content, and today is your lucky day. Today I'm going to talk about my weight loss. Yes, I've had some weight loss. Some of you guys have been following me on Instagram and you've heard me talking about it. Some of you guys are hearing this for the first time, but your girl has lost 18 pounds in 30 days. Well, it's now been actually probably 38 days. But that doesn't matter. That's a really, really great accomplishment. So I wanted to share with you guys what I was doing because a lot of people reached out to me and said, can you please tell us what exactly it is that you're doing and tell us more about it? So sure, I'll tell you more about it. Before we get into the video, I want to make sure to give you guys the standard disclaimer that I am not a dietitian. I am not a medical professional. Please only take what I'm saying to you as my opinion, my experience. Before you start any type of diet, weight loss plan, eating regimen, exercise, whatever it is, please make sure to consult first with your physician to make sure that it is safe for you to do. All right, so let's talk about what it is I have been doing exactly. And I'm going to pull up some information here so that I can kind of read off to you because, again, I'm not an expert and I just want to make sure to communicate to you exactly what it is that I'm doing and what the benefits are. Now, let me just take you back a little bit to about 60 days ago when I started to, I was listening to some Joe Rogan podcasts and I came across a interview with Dr. Jordan Peterson, who, and it's escaping me right now what his specialty is, but he was talking about this carnivore diet and his experience with it, as well as his wife's and his daughter's experience with it. It actually first started with his daughter, who had a lot of autoimmune issues. She had a lot of joint issues. It turns out that she was literally allergic to almost every food there was, which is a very rare thing. But nevertheless, after trying a lot of different eliminating a lot of different foods in her diet, she had somebody recommend to her to eliminate everything except for meat. Okay. So I was intrigued by this because if you guys if you remember years ago, the Atkins diet was a really, really big thing. And I never tried it personally because it came about right around the time that I had my gastric bypass surgery. And to be honest with you, the appeal with this particular diet was really centered around my gastric bypass surgery and how I was taught to eat after I had gastric bypass surgery. So those of you that have had some type of weight loss surgery are probably going to be really familiar with what I'm about to say. At least you should be. I hope your doctor gave you this information. But after you have weight loss surgery, it is highly recommended that you eat a lot of protein and that you eat your protein first. So if you're sitting there with a plate and you have a steak and you have vegetables and you have a starch, that you eat the protein first, eat the vegetables last, eat everything else last aside from the protein. Okay. And that is because after you have gastric bypass, one of the side effects of it is vitamin absorption. So you need foods that are going to provide you more fat, more protein, so that your hair doesn't fall out, so that your skin doesn't get saggy, so that you are overall, you're getting your daily vitamins in. So that's what first attracted me to this diet, as well as the amazing results that Dr. Jordan Peterson described him and his family having when he got on this diet. Now, Joe Rogan coincidentally also went on this diet after he had Jordan Peterson on the show, and he also reported really, really great results and feeling amazing. So I figured it's 30 days. Not a big deal. I can do anything for 30 days. Now, if you're curious about this episode, I will link it below so that you can check it out. I highly recommend that you watch it, and anything that I can put as far as resources in the description box below, I will also put it down there. So let me give you the Merriam-Webster definition of the carnivore diet. As its name implies, the carnivore diet is an all-meat diet that consists almost entirely of animal products like red meat, fish, and poultry. Some other products such as eggs and dairy may also be permitted, although some advise limiting foods high in lactose such as milk, cheese, and yogurt. Fruits and veggies are off limits on this meat-only diet. along with other foods such as nuts, seeds, and grains. The diet is based on the idea that our ancestors ate limited amounts of carbs and consumed a diet comprised primarily of meat instead. However, unlike similar low-carb diets such as the paleo diet or the keto diet, the carnivore diet eliminates foods containing carbohydrates completely, and it almost eliminates sugar from your diet completely as well. So I just want to go through really quick some of the things that you can eat on the carnivore diet and what you cannot eat. And then I'm going to go into some of the comments that people made as I was kind of explaining, on my Instagram page, what it was that I was eating. So again, the things that you can eat on this diet are meat, which would be beef, pork, lamb, veal, bison, and offal. I don't even know what the hell offal is. You can also have seafood, salmon, tuna, mackerel, anchovies, and codfish. Poultry, such as chicken, turkey, goose, and duck. Eggs and egg whites, although I highly suggest never eating egg whites because all of the nutrients is in the eggs, in the complete egg, in the yolk. Dairy products such as low lactose foods like hard cheeses and butters, and beverages such as water and bone broth. Now, the things that you cannot eat, which is what surprises a lot of people, because if you look at that amazing food pyramid that we have always been taught to follow, which I'm going to talk about that for a second, because if you really look at it, I don't know if they changed it over the years, but it just doesn't make sense to me. And this is why we as a society are overweight, obese, and unhealthy. Okay. So what the things that you have to avoid on this diet are fruits: apples, bananas, oranges, berries, pears, peaches, plums, vegetables such as broccoli, cauliflower, spinach, kale, and all vegetables really. Legumes. So those are your beans: black beans, kidney beans, lentils, pinto beans, chickpeas, nuts, seeds, grains, dairy products high in lactose, foods like milk, yogurt, and soft cheeses, processed foods, beverages such as tea, coffee, sports drinks, sodas, energy drinks, sugar, table sugar, brown sugar, honey, maple syrup. Okay. Now, a lot of you guys, I just got through that and you're like, hell to the no. That sounds crazy to me not to eat fruits and vegetables. Are you kidding me? Everybody needs fruits and vegetables. Okay. Hear me out. Okay. Fruits and vegetables are high in sugar, and some are even high in carbs. Now, your body doesn't really know the difference between a good sugar and a bad sugar. It processes it the same way. There is no door inside your body that says processed sugars this way, natural sugars this way. It processes it the same way. The whole idea behind this diet is to eat a very high fat diet. So even while it lists chicken as part of the foods that you can eat, or turkey, I eat very little of that unless it is chicken thighs and unless I'm adding a fat to it, such as bacon grease, okay? And I'm going to talk about that in a second. And the reason why is because chicken is not a very fatty meat to begin with, and neither is turkey. So you're going to eat those things and you're not going to be fulfilled as much as you would if you were eating a nice fatty steak or some pork or bacon or some goose or duck, some natural unpasteurized, is it pasteurized? Unpasteurized? Whatever. The natural milk, if you can get it, because it's pretty much outlawed, and non-processed cheeses, okay? Now, when I did this diet, I tried to follow it as close as possible, but Dr. Jordan Peterson, he says you just have to do the best that you can do. And I follow another guy. His name is Smelly's Gym. He owns a gym and he does the carnivore diet, and he's got a lot of good content, but he also cycles on and off the carnivore diet, which a lot of people do as well. So, where was I going with that? So anyways, the whole point is to eat a lot of fat. And the reason why you want to eat a lot of fat versus filling your plate with vegetables, which are sugar and carbs, or fruit, which are sugar and carbs, is you want your body to use the fat and the stored fat that you already have. If you consume a lot of sugar and carbs, which let's just say you just eat nothing but salads all day. Let's just say you eat nothing but fruit all day, right? You're still consuming a lot of sugar and carbs, And your body says, well, that's really quick energy. Let me go there first. Let me process that first. Let me use that first. And it puts any fat that you have consumed to the back. It stores it, okay, which is what causes people to be fat. Now, a lot of people will also say, well, weight loss is pretty simple. It's calories in, calories out. Here's the great thing about the carnivore diet is you don't have to count calories. You don't even have to say, well, I have to stop eating by this time, or I have, there's none of that. So if you are somebody who just hates these like structured diets where you have to stop eating by a certain amount of time, you have to count your calories, you have to count your carbs, you have to count this, you have to count that. The carnivore diet eliminates all of that for you. The only downside to the carnivore diet is your choices. It can become very boring, especially if you're not somebody who can get creative and kind of invent things and make them palatable for you, right? Other people will say, I would love to be on a diet where I can eat a ribeye every day, or I can have steak and eggs every day. And trust me, I think everybody starts out the carnivore diet eating tons of steak and tons of eggs and tons of bacon and, put cheese on everything because I did, right? And I still lost weight. However, and also, by the way, I was like consumed, like I was like really hungry in the beginning and I was like, oh my God, I can't stop eating. Like I'm just so hungry. That was my body coming down from really essentially having a very high sugar and high carb diet to begin with, because it was coming down, it was detoxing from all of that. So that there's a week period when you start this diet where your body goes through an adjustment period and, not to be graphic, you'll get possibly some diarrhea, you will get crazy, explosive, you can't leave your house diarrhea, and you might get nausea, and you might get headaches and things like that. All of that is very normal when you're coming down from something like a high sugar, high carb diet. So when I first started, like I went through that, and of course I lost weight. But what I found about 2 weeks in is that I was inadvertently kind of fasting in the morning time. So whereas I used to wake up and I used to like make this huge plate of steak and eggs and bacon, and then I would, reserve all the bacon fat and keep it for cooking and cook my next steak with that. And I was eating, veal, I was eating pork, I was eating all kinds of things. I was eating cheese. I was eating salami, even though that is a processed, I wasn't eating necessarily a processed cheese, but I was eating like salami, which is processed. But they do say on the carnivore diet that as long as you stick as close to the diet as possible, and especially if it allows you to stay dedicated to the diet, do what you have to do, right? So for me, I got really tired of steaks and I got really tired of just the boring meals. So I would start to buy salami and I would buy some goat cheese and I would make these little roll-ups. And then I discovered these amazing things called folio wraps, which have very basic ingredients. It's just cheese and milk. But they're these flat, almost tortilla-like, things that you can buy. And you can actually put them in the oven and crisp them up and make taco shells out of them. So I would make taco shells out of that. And I would put ground beef in there, make a taco minus all the veggies. But I would use salsa, things like that. So I wasn't very super duper strict on this diet like Jordan Peterson. He literally just eats beef and drinks water. And he's been doing that for years. And he's perfectly happy that way. I've really found a comfort level. And also, I am still seeing weight loss results the way that I have been doing the diet. But I've also had, past my 30 days, I decided to have pasta one night. And then I went to a party that was like an African party for a baby shower. And they had African food. And I love African food. And African food is very starch heavy. So I had planned and I said, well, it's past my 30 days. I'm going to eat that. So I do want to share with you what the results were when I strayed from the carnivore eating. But overall, I have lost 18 pounds. I started the diet probably, I'm done counting, but it's well over 30 days. It's probably 35 to 38 days now. And I've lost 4.5 inches on my waist, and everything above my upper body, I've lost 4.5 inches. Everything below, I've lost about 2. And I think that that's because with gastric bypass, when you lose a lot of weight initially, you have a lot of skin and droopy skin and blah, blah, blah. So the shrinkage on my thighs and my stomach, and my hips, I did lose inches as well, but not too much. So my body is just naturally curvy, but I have lost a significant amount of inches on my waist and my arms, and also on my chest area as well. And the best part of all is I feel amazing, you guys. I feel really, really good. I don't feel like I'm being tortured. I don't feel like I'm missing out. I just have to think through things. So, if I want a sandwich, right, I take one of those folio wraps. They have them in cheddar, they have them in Parmesan, and they have them in Jarlsberg, okay? I take a Jarlsberg wrap. I put some boar's head, pastrami, or roast beef, or turkey, or ham, or all of the above, because there really is no limit to how much you can eat. And I wrap it up in a folio wrap. I'll put, I bought some Duke's mayonnaise, which is very low. It's like 1 gram of sugar. Mustard has nothing in it, so you can have all the mustard you want. And I do actually eat pickles because pickles aren't really high in carbs or sugar. So I buy like the real natural pickles from Boar's Head, and I eat those in my sandwich. And anytime I need a snack and I need to like satisfy something, but I don't want to eat meat, I'll eat a pickle. The hardest part for me on this diet was not eating fruit. I'm so used to eating like blueberries and strawberries and oranges, tangerines. I love those types of things. So that was really, really hard for me. And I was never really a dessert person until I went on the carnivore diet. And then all of a sudden, like I was craving just like cold something in my mouth. And the only thing that I looked up that I could eat was sugar-free Jell-O. The reason why you can eat sugar-free Jell-O on the carnivore diet is because gelatin is actually made from parts of an animal. So in a technicality, it's actually a carnivore item, and it has no sugar. So I would literally in the beginning, I would like make a whole tray of Jell-O. I mean, I started off just buying the little cups, and then like I would eat 2 or 3 cups in a sitting because again, there's no limit to what you can eat. And I would be like, let me just make a whole tray of Jell-O so I can just reach in there and eat the Jell-O whenever I want. So that's what I did. If you guys are interested in me kind of making some videos to show you exactly what it is I'm cooking, and I'll also like post some pictures here so that you guys can see some of the meals I've cooked. I make pizza. Now I don't have a pizza crust. What I have is the folio wrap, which I crisp up in the oven. And I'll put 2 or 3 on top of each other and then make it into a bowl because you can actually form it. Once you crisp it up, you can form it. And I make it almost into a tostada bowl. And then I fill that with some spicy Italian sausage. I put mozzarella cheese. I put pepperoni in there. And I make almost, it tastes like a deep dish pizza. It is delicious. And I also do put some, not marinara sauce from the jar, but I will buy some pure tomato sauce that literally has just tomatoes and water, very low in sugar, and I will spice it up. Also, in regards to spices, you can have as many spices as you want. I do add things like sriracha to my eggs. I do add green salsa to my eggs. And again, those are vegetables. I know you guys are saying, well, Monique, those are vegetables. Again, in my version of this carnivore diet, I am keeping my carbs and sugar below 10 grams, like literally below 10 grams a day. So I'm not eating a whole lot of sugar at all, and it's not killing my progress. Now let's talk about when I had a bowl of, let me just tell you. So I've made the pizza. I have made pasta with Miracle noodles, which if you guys have tried Miracle noodles, I mean, if you're just dying for pasta and you want to make a pasta sauce or you want to make an Alfredo sauce, which you can make because you can have heavy cream occasionally on this diet, the Miracle noodle works great. And it wasn't that bad, but it's not like, I would have it again. I would rather just have real pasta and deal with the consequences. I make sandwiches, pork chops. I even do fried pork chops, which I bread with crushed up pork rinds because pork rinds are carnivore, right? So I take pork rinds, I crush them up into a dust, and then I use that to bread things so that I can have something crunchy if I want to fry something. I make a delicious salmon topped with shrimp, and I make a Cajun cream sauce. That has been amazing. I do tuna roll-ups. So like I'll make just regular tuna fish and put it in my folio wraps. What else? I mean, just a ton of stuff, guys. Just think through it and think about how you can make your meals as carnivore friendly as possible. Okay. So let's talk about, when I strayed from the diet. Now, I want to make this clear. I went 35 days on this diet, lost 15 pounds, and did not stray from this diet. I stayed, to the course. But I got invited to this African party, and I was past my 30 days, and I was like, oh, I really want African food. I want like all the plantains loaded with starch, blah, 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 blah. But, Africans eat a lot of beef and chicken, and I think lamb is also another thing that they eat. So I was going to still load up on plenty of that. But I went to this party. I ate. I loved it. And then and then I even had a cocktail. I even had a cocktail at the party. I think I had a vodka and water with lime in it. So I tried to go with like the least amount of sugar, alcohol as possible. And it was great while I had it. But then by nighttime that night, my stomach was telling me, no, girl, that didn't make me happy. I don't like that. Right. So I was like, well, African food was going, it was probably a little crazy to start with. So maybe that's what it was. Well, a couple nights ago, I wanted a pasta, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to have pasta. Now I'm just going to make a portion of pasta. I'm not going to make a whole ton of pasta, and I'm going to put more seafood in it than I put actual pasta noodles. So I took a very tinier than that, small amount of dry pasta noodles, and I mixed it in with shrimp and calamari and scallops that I had bought from Trader Joe's. They have a great mixed bag of seafood. And cooked that up and made a lemony, cheesy sauce to go on top of the pasta. So I had the pasta, not a whole bunch of pasta in it, but enough to make me satisfied that I was eating pasta. And it was delicious once again, but by nighttime, my body was like, girl, what are you doing? And it wasn't happy. So I was more than glad to continue on with the carnivore diet after that and get right back on my eating plan, which I have stayed on. And I do great with. Now, will I ever add things like vegetables and fruits in? Yes, I will. But what's coming to realization for me is I'm not saying I'm like Jordan Peterson's daughter, that I'm allergic to everything, but it is very clear my body doesn't like a whole lot of starches and sugars and carbs. So if I do that, it will be in very, very small moderation. And I wouldn't say that I would do it all the time. So last night I had made homemade pizzas for everybody. I actually wasn't hungry at dinner, so I didn't eat anything aside from like sneaking a few of the meatballs, the Italian sausage meatballs that I had made for the pizza. I like ate maybe 3 of those, and they were like super tiny. But my family was like, oh my God, this pizza is so good. So I took a bite of somebody's pizza, and that was it. That was the only thing I had, but I didn't sit down and have a whole slice of pizza. The other day we went to my mom's house for a barbecue for my dad's birthday, and he made tons of different cuts of meat, which was great. I ate that. They had some like corn casserole thing, and then they had a potato salad, and I had 1 teaspoon size, just enough to try it. But that was it. And I was perfectly fine. I didn't have like a craving for anything else. And what's amazing is that was a push for me to lose a few more pounds after that. So maybe my body just kind of wanted a little bit, but not too much. So I think that I'm probably going to stay the course on this diet for as long as my body tells me that's what it wants. And so far I feel really, really good. I'm having really, really good results from it. My skin feels really good. That's the other thing. My energy levels are really good. I am still working out at the gym 3 to 4 times a week. So that's never really stopped. I mean, there was a time, not when I was doing the carnivore diet, but before the carnivore diet, that I had kind of like slacked on the gym a little bit. So yeah, but we're back in the gym. Don't you worry about that. So, I mean, that's pretty much it. You know, if this is something that you want to try, I would definitely do research on it. Again, I'll link some of the YouTube videos that I watched, web pages that I looked at in my research. But I would definitely recommend that if you're going to do something like this, I went like full force, like all the way the minute I decided to do it. But, you know, take your time, research it, make sure you're going to be able to be successful. Oh, the other thing I want to address is the cost. A lot of people say, oh my gosh, like right now everything is so expensive, the cost of things. So this really surprised me, but my grocery bill has actually gone down a few $100s. And that's because I'm not eating as much as I was in the very beginning of this diet. Like I was like constantly like buying steaks and stuff like that and making sure that I had stuff to cook. But now I just kind of make like, I make a steak and then I might eat, you know, I'll buy like a big steak and then I might eat half of it. I might buy some sausages. I might eat hard-boiled eggs. But I'm not eating a whole lot because I feel really, really satisfied the majority of the day. And not as desperate to eat food. So maybe like your first 2 weeks, you might have to like stock up on a few things. And again, please do this diet within your budget. If all you can afford is lunch meat, then get the best quality lunch meat that you can get. If you can't eat steaks every day and all you can eat is ground beef, then get the fattiest ground beef you can get. Go to your butcher and ask for meat scraps. I know this may sound gross to some people, but I have really enjoyed eating crispy fat. I take the fat off of everybody's steak and I like put it in a baggie and then I will like fry it up in a pan until it's like crispy and I will eat that and it is like the best thing ever. But I've always loved to eat the fat off of meat. So if it grosses you out, it's not for you. But go to your butcher and ask them, like, do you guys have any like thin cuts of meat that I can like, you know, that you can slice up and season and, you know, do what you can with it. So just get creative. You don't have to buy all organic, although it is recommended that you eat organic and you eat things that are not loaded with hormones and things like that. If you can only go to Costco or Sam's and buy, you know, 2 roast chickens and make that last the week, fine, but find a way to put fat in your diet somehow. Buy some bacon, do something, eat a lot of eggs. Do what you can. Just do what you can as much as you can. Stick to it. Take it slow. Don't torture yourself. If you get to a point where you're like, I can't take it anymore, I need a slice of pizza, I need a candy bar, eat half of it. Get it out of your system and then get back to it. That's what I would suggest. But if you guys want to see any more videos on the carnivore diet or you have questions about it, submit them down below in the comments box. I'll answer as many as I can. If I have to make a whole nother video just answering questions, I will definitely do that as well. And if you guys are interested in seeing what I cook on the carnivore diet, I'd be happy to make some cooking videos, although that would be kind of new for me. I've never done that before, but I'd be happy to make some cooking videos for you guys and show you guys what I'm doing. So that is it for today. Kind of a long video, but there was a lot to say. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.